and that goes on and on to talk about those who had true faith, who acted on their faith. And I want to read Hebrews 12 as we close in prayer this morning. Do you have a faith that is producing fruit? And if you don't, this is the promise, church. You can look to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Look at this. If you don't have that faith in Christ this morning, I want you to be encouraged by this verse. Therefore, verse 1 of Hebrews 12, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witness, let us lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance. Lord, I pray this morning that there are people in this room who do not have any more endurance, that you would strengthen them this morning. Let us run with endurance that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. I'm going to pray for us this morning. Do you have a true faith that is found in Christ? Lord, we pray this morning as we look at your word, as we look at Hebrews 12, I pray that there would be people in this room for the very first time who have not looked to Christ, would look to him anew, would find their faith, their trust, their hope in him. Maybe those who are out of endurance in here, who are struggling with sin, would find their endurance again as they look to Jesus. Lord, do a work in our lives. We cannot work for our salvation. We cannot earn it. You did the work on the cross, and may we just abide in that so that we could produce fruit for your glory. It's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Hi, I'm Ryan Ruckel, one of the pastors at Redemption Road Church. We're glad you joined us for worship this morning and pray that you were blessed by today's message in some way. I want to personally invite you to worship and hear the good news of Jesus right here on News Radio KYRO, Sunday mornings at 9. Or consider joining us in person at either of our two weekly services, Sunday mornings at 9 and 10:45 a.m. We're located at 5 Winfield Plaza, next to County Market in Winfield. Until next time, we hope you're blessed.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing higher for the day and week, with the Dow and S&P 500 notching new records as big banks delivered upbeat earnings. And as another inflation reading was mostly tame, pointing to a still favorable inflation outlook and supporting views that the Fed will slash interest rates again next month. The Dow up 410 points, the Nasdaq higher by 61, S&P 500 up 35. Shares of Boeing are falling after hours. Its new CEO, Kelly Ortberg, announced that the aerospace giant will slash 17,000 jobs, or 10% of its global workforce, and delay first delivery of its 777X jet by a year as a month-long strike is battering the company's finances. Boeing is also warning of deeper quarterly losses. JP Morgan, the biggest bank in the country, continued to earn more than expected on lending in the third quarter and raised its forecast. Its stock rose 5%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
Including the pre-Super Bowl era, what NFL franchise has won the most NFL championships?
I'm going to say the Cowboys.
Good guess. I would say the Packers.
How'd you do? Exactly. These get tougher, so hang on.
Make sure you take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Thank you for taking the quiz.
The Moscow Mills Lions Club invites you every second Sunday of the month, 7:30 to noon. All-you-can-eat breakfast, $12 adults, kids 6 to 11, 6, and children under 6 eat free. Sunday breakfast, 30 Friese Industrial Drive in Moscow Mills.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 10 o'clock in the Heartland.
Stevens, one person dead, 9 others hurt after a mass shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Late yesterday afternoon, 2 groups of people began firing at each other near Tennessee State University. Nashville police spokesman Don Aaron.
We are confident that at least one of the persons who is at a local hospital was involved in the actual gunfire, was shooting, had a gun.
3 of the shooting victims, juveniles, a motive unclear. Voting concerns, meantime, in North Carolina after Hurricane Helene.
North Carolina officials fear some ballots may have already gotten lost in the mail. Early voting begins across that battleground state on Thursday, even as residents continue to deal with communication and power outages. State administrators have approved $5 million to help.
Fox's Chanley Painter. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing higher for the day and week, with the Dow and S&P 500 notching new records as big banks delivered upbeat earnings, and as another inflation reading was mostly tame, pointing to a still favorable inflation outlook and supporting views that the Fed will slash interest rates again next month. The Dow up 410 points, the Nasdaq higher by 61, S&P 500 up 35. Shares of Boeing are falling after hours. Its new CEO Kelly Ortberg announced that the aerospace giant will slash 17,000 jobs, or 10% of its global workforce, and delay first delivery of its 777X jet by a year as a month-long strike is battering the company's finances. Boeing is also warning of deeper quarterly losses. JP Morgan, the biggest bank in the country, continued to earn more than expected on lending in the third quarter and raised its forecast. Its stock rose 5%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
Including the pre-Super Bowl era, what NFL franchise has won the most NFL championships?
I'm going to say the Cowboys.
Good guess. I would say the Packers.
How'd you do? Exactly. These get tougher, so hang on.
Make sure you take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Thank you for taking the quiz.
Today's Hot Country 99.9 KFAV and News Radio 105.3 1280 KYRO welcome you to the Michael Marvin Kelly Memorial, Saturday, October 26th, starting and ending at Kelly's One More Shot, 103 North Lincoln Drive in Troy. The pool tournament starting at noon, VFW Post 7560 barbecue at noon, and the Hawk Point Minuteman Cornhole Tournament at 2 in Hawk Point. Don't miss the poker run. Registration from 9:30 to 11. Kickstands up at 11. Starting at Kelly's, last bike in at 5:30. The Corner Pub hosting a 50-50 all day. The drawing when bikes arrive. And the Hideout all-day gun raffle, they're drawing when bikes arrive. Music by Tim Hadler takes the stage at 7. Auctions and raffles at 6. A full fun day of special events to honor the memory of Michael Marvin Kelly. For more information, contact Brandon Hammers at 636-377-3165.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Isaac Lowenkron.
Right now in London, the Chicago Bears with a 7-3 lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars with 3:08 remaining in the second quarter. Jacksonville got on the board first on a 30-yard field goal by Cam Little, but then 4 minutes into the second quarter, Caleb Williams threw a 31-yard touchdown pass to Cole Kmet of Chicago. In college football on Saturday night, Third-ranked Oregon defeated number 2 Ohio State 32-31. Oregon's Atticus Sappington, the game-winning 19-yard field goal with 1:47 to play. 8th-ranked Tennessee over Florida in overtime 23-17. 13th-ranked LSU beat number 9 Ole Miss in overtime 29-26. And 17th-ranked Boise State won at Hawaii 28-7. Boise State running back Ashton Genty ran for 217 yards on 31 carries.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 49 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 60s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 50s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 64. In Wentzville it's 64 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, good Sunday morning. It is time for Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Of course, also on the KYRO Facebook feeds. The Traveling East Productions Facebook, Rumble, and Twitter channels. Go like and subscribe. And, of course, on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page as well. Join us with your questions and your comments right there on the Facebook feeds. And in studio with me this morning, it is going to be a glorious morning, for it is pretty doggone nice outside here in East Lincoln County.
Actually, you're on YouTube and Rumble as well.
Oh, so we're back up on YouTube now?
Just this show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Can't do any of the politics shows on there anymore because YouTube's a bunch of weenies.
And, of course, the voice that you are hearing right there is from none other than C.T. Harrison, owner and proprietor, executive producer of Traveling East Productions, and also, of course, World League Wrestling. C.T. Harrison, good morning, my friend.
Morning.
Also, in studio here at the Gateway Fiber Studios with us, we have my broadcast partner on World League Wrestling, former senior referee as well. His name is Martin Kadich. Good morning, my brother.
Hey, it's great to be here.
And in between them two, none other than Marty's son. He is AJ Kadich from the AJ Awesome Show. Good morning, AJ.
Hello. Good morning.
A lot of stuff going on this week in the world of professional wrestling, gentlemen. Lots. So where should we start? Might as well just start from the very beginning, right? Let's talk World League Wrestling, because in just 3 weeks' time, less than 3 weeks' time, November the 2nd, it will be WLW 25, the 25th year anniversary show, and what a show it is going to be. A couple of matches have already been announced. Of course, it will be the Grand Regent, Camaro Jackson, taking on Superstar Steve for the WLW Heavyweight Championship. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
It's about time. I have waited for this and waited for this. He won a Rumble a couple of years ago.
Last year. Mm-hmm.
And now he finally gets the chance. This is going to be he's taking Steve down. It's the only way it can go.
You've got that feeling is in the air, isn't it?
Mm. Well, he pushed Camaro over the edge with that attack.
Yeah.
We saw Camaro talking about it backstage, and a lot of rage, a lot of anger.
Yeah. Big time.
Now, if he can just control it and bring it to the ring, but control it, I think Steve is now a bit off more than he can chew on this one.
He may possibly have. I mean, he does have Aiden Riley under his wing as well, and he's always lurking around with that crazy lead pipe now. But, man.
Oh, Camaro's got an equalizer.
Yeah. AJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool to finally see this match. I believe they wrestled before, but I'm not exactly certain.
They have Fort Scott, Kansas. Not too long ago, earlier this year, but again, interference by people, and things happen.
I believe we may finally see Steve be defeated for his championship, even with Aiden Riley on his side.
Martin, your thoughts on my broadcast partner on WLW Showdown?
Well, I think, everybody wants to see Camaro win. Everybody wants to see Camaro win. He's been cut off at every chance. He's been at this for a long time. But the last two shows, it's been Steve coming out on top.
Yeah.
And Steve's had a chokehold on that title for so long.
Since November of 2022.
And if you think about it, he hadn't held that title since 2009, was it?
Yeah. Yep, you're right. You're absolutely 100% correct.
I worry that, he's not going to let it go by any means necessary.
Yeah.
So
he's going to do everything he can, and I believe Aiden's going to be there to help him do everything he can.
Yeah. You ain't wrong. I mean, and then also...
But if anybody's going to overcome it, it'll be Camaro.
Yeah.
That's very true, but that's the exact thing that I'm talking about is Steve he's hedging bets here. He's got Aiden in his corner. He's got that pipe that he's carrying around, and he's done damage to Camaro.
Yeah.
Twice
See, that's
now with
the thing.
that pipe.
Yeah.
That's the thing is Camaro going to be able to go into this 100% because 2 months ago we saw that attack with the lead pipe. Well, 3 months ago actually. 2 months ago we saw Superstar Steve do a beat down on not only on Camaro Jackson but also Leland Race.
Exactly.
And then at the last event just a week ago.
Speaking of that, do we have an update medically on Leland Race?
No, it's been very quiet on that front. Weirdly quiet on that front.
And that can be scary too because this is Leland we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's had a broken neck recently.
Yes, not just that, but a silent Leland is also a dangerous Leland.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, and we don't know what he's got. He could be the ace in the hole.
Could be.
But you got, like I said, you have to take into account just how devastating Steve's been. I mean, it seems like everything's in upheaval at World League Wrestling right now with Steve doing what he's doing, with Dysfunction what they're doing, with Skylar the way she's going, and you and
it's been a crazy
by the way,
feeling.
Sarge got beat up by a girl.
Yeah, it happens.
I mean,
He got laid out.
I did get laid out. You're right, AJ.
It's easy to say that when they've never had one of them turn on him.
Yeah. But last week.
But I got kicked in the face by Superstar Steve. Not.
Yeah.
Well, that was more of a favor. That was more as a favor to the rest of us.
Well, yeah, everybody was kind of happy about that one.
Yeah, it was more like hey, he's got a face for radio. Steve was like, oh, I can fix that. And
But Superstar Steve
He did not fix it.
He didn't fix it. No.
Superstar Steve giving that brainbuster though to Leland on that chair. Not just laid flat on the chair. I mean, he set it up to where you could sit down in the chair. And as soon as that hit, and I was right maybe 3 feet away from him when that happened, and then all of a sudden you saw the blood gushing. And of course, during that tag team match, Camaro Jackson's mind wasn't on what it should have been on. It was more on Leland's condition, and they were out there with him for quite some time.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, both Superstar and Aiden were like wolves in that match from that point on, and they did a number on Camaro again for the third time in a row. So his health is in question as well, and it's the game of professional wrestling.
Well, it shows how high the stakes are.
Yeah,
this is for the world heavyweight title, and they're literally willing to end careers.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
And they showed it clearly with what they did to Leland Race. The problem is that there's going to be retribution as soon as Leland Race is capable.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that saying? Hell's coming and I'm coming with it. What?
FAFO?
Yeah.
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 Like I said, a silent Leland is a dangerous Leland.
You aren't wrong. But I am very worried about that neck of his, because he had that neck broken not even 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something along those lines. And I don't think that ever really completely 100% healed either.
The rub there is it was Camaro Jackson that did it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're tag team partners, best friends.
Yeah.
You know, and here he is in defense of Camaro Jackson taking this same kind of damage.
Which also makes me question a few things too, because I don't get at this point how or why they're getting along. But I also know that Leland is capable of going to the dark side.
That's very true.
And I could see this is the fan in me over 10, 11 years now of WLW. I could see Leland turning on him and making sure that Steve wins.
I hadn't even thought of it that way.
Hey, Leland's a dark soul sometimes. He can go to those dark places. We've seen it before.
Yikes.
Well,
he's been a heavyweight champion that's been on the on the bad side of things.
Very true, but you got to remember the results of the Camaro Jackson and Leland Race fight over the neck.
Yeah,
there was a whole lot of respect earned. There was a whole lot of respect gained.
Yeah,
and they didn't just start respecting each other. They joined forces and won the tag team title.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I'm just saying you can't put it out of your mind.
No,
that's all
can't.
I'm saying. It's always a possibility. Leland can flip a switch at any point in time.
But now being back there and seeing how these guys are, when you're talking to them, they all got that dark side in them because they're all competitors.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But not everybody wore a T-shirt that said "I broke Leland's neck" either.
No, but not everybody.
And he wore that proudly for a very long time too.
Not everybody could.
Okay. That's yeah. I get you.
And on the Facebook feed, we've got all day Aiden Riley chiming in, and he says Aiden Riley and Superstar Steve greater than sign everyone else.
Okay.
Hey, when you're carrying a lead pipe around and smoozing up to the WLW heavyweight champion Superstar Steve, that's pretty easy to say. It's pretty easy to say.
How long is it until he turns that lead pipe against Steve?
That's another good dynamic as well. I mean, he did finally get his first win in a long time with Superstar Steve by his side against the natural Atlas Armstrong. But, I mean, wow. Crazy stuff.
In that tag team match, we saw Aiden Riley taking the beating for Superstar Steve throughout basically that entire match. Superstar Steve repeatedly tagging Aiden Riley so he can take the beating from Camaro Jackson and Leland Race.
This is true. Until Superstar Steve took out Leland Race with that brainbuster on the chair. And then it was 2-on-1 the rest of the night.
Uh-huh.
Another match that we know is going to happen at WLW 25. The Deliverer Moses. He is the WLW Junior Heavyweight Champion. He has held that belt for quite some time now. He is going up against a person I think that knows him better than anyone else in that locker room. His, I guess you can call him now, former tag team partner of Technical Difficulties. It's none other than the former WLW Junior Heavyweight Champion, Raheem De La Suede. What a match that one is going to be.
It'll definitely be an interesting one. We've seen them fight in the past, just a few years ago, and I believe Moses won that match, and I feel like we might see the same outcome here.
I don't know. We'll see. Martin?
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't think that it'll affect their tag team. I don't think it'll affect that at all, but at this point in time, with the determination of Suede, I don't know, man. Moses could be in trouble. Raheem's been going after this title for a while, and this, when he lost that title, it was a 3 versus 1. Or it was a 2 versus 1 basically situation. It was a triple threat match, and I'm pretty sure that Moses didn't pin Raheem De La Suede to win that title.
Well, if you remember, though, about 4 or 5 months ago, Moses and Raheem did have a one-on-one match where Moses, surprisingly, and sometimes you got to fight fire with fire, of course, but he used the ropes to get that 1, 2, 3 on Raheem De La Suede.
That's right. And that doesn't sit well with Moses, that he had to do that to win.
Well, that just tells me he's learning a little something from Suede.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, come on. Let's be real here.
Definitely could be the case, but I can tell you he doesn't like winning that way.
Yeah.
And
but also
doing it means something.
A title, how do I put this? A title can change your morals sometimes too.
Yeah. Especially when you've got not just that target on your back, but that target is on your back because of your tag team partner and former champion as well. A person that, like I said before, knows him inside and out.
But I also think Moses will end up doing whatever he has to do to hold on to that title because, let's face it, the WLW Junior Heavyweight title is just as prestigious as the heavyweight title. And holding that title means you are something. It means you are one of the top of the mountain. Because that title has a lineage. That title has a certain amount of power to it. And that can be addictive.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. You know what? If Moses pulled something like that off again using the rope, you
wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
Doesn't make him a bad person.
Well,
it just means somebody wants it.
Fire, right?
It just means he wants it more than he wanted it more than Raheem did at the time, I guess.
Could be. All right, we were up against our very first break here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk, but when we come back, even more to jump into, and we'll be right back right after this.
Hi, BJ Walters here. Join us for the News Radio KYRO Sports Flash from the Old Monroe Lumber Company at CM79 in Old Monroe and online at omlumber.com on your home for the Chiefs, Blues, Mizzou, NASCAR, News Radio KYRO.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Moscow Mills Lions Club invites you every second Sunday of the month, 7:30 to noon. All-you-can-eat breakfast, $12 adults, kids 6 to 11, 6, and children under 6 eat free. Sunday breakfast, 30 Friese Industrial Drive in Moscow Mills.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk here on News Radio 105.3 FM. 1280 AM KYRO here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios. Of course, you can also join us on all of the Facebook feeds that we've got going on, the radio station Facebook feed, Traveling East Productions, YouTube, Twitter, X, and Rumble as well. Go like and subscribe. And also, of course, Uncensored Wrestling Talk's Facebook page as well. Join us with your questions and your comments. And getting back to WLW 25 again for just a few minutes. It hasn't been announced as of yet. However, I will be extremely surprised if we don't get Skylar Sparks against Tootie Lynn for that WLW Ladies Division Championship. And Marty, you've been calling the matches with me. You've been up front and seeing exactly everything that's been going on with Skylar Sparks. You had a hand in training Skylar Sparks to being a referee. Why, what, in your mind, the changes in Skylar Sparks?
Well, nothing's really changed. You see, that's the thing.
No, I listen to this.
This is the thing. Even when she was a referee, she always did her best to uphold the rules.
Yeah.
But that wasn't for wrestling. That wasn't for the match. That was so she was a good referee and she could be the best referee. She's always strove to be the best. She's always strove to do more than the others.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be where she was right now if she didn't, because she's already banged her head up against Tootie Lynn so many times and come up empty-handed. And she just changed tactics. She changed attitude. She's doing everything she thinks she needs to do to reach that next level right now. And if this doesn't work, it's not going to stop her. She's just going to try and find another way.
Well, it's just like her during training.
Exactly.
Period. She was relentless.
Yeah.
Didn't stop.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's always been her demeanor.
So it really hasn't changed.
Yeah,
I get where he's coming from, and I
every time you push her, you get a response. That's why you got cold cocked.
Yeah, you pushed her.
Well, I was only trying to tell her, like I've said before, I was only trying to tell her that Tootie Lynn had said she will face her anytime, anywhere for that championship. And,
And she showed you what she's going to do to Tootie Lynn the next time she hears her name.
Well, she also showed what she's going to do at the last event when she went underneath the ring and grabbed a crutch and totally destroyed Cameron Burnett.
That's
with
an
it.
eye
Okay,
for an
that's
eye.
an eye. Yeah,
that
that's called a receipt.
That is a receipt. You're right, but also I think that it shows with Skylar Sparks that she is not below of doing whatever it takes to take out the person in front of her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Skylar Sparks in that last match was in a blind rage, attacking Cameron Burnett and calling her Tootie as she was beating her up. I feel like this shows that she will do everything and anything she has possible to get that ladies' championships that she has fought so hard to get.
Well, this all started because she felt like Tootie let her down by not having her back when she got jumped by Cameron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just flipped a switch in her. And now all of a sudden she feels like she's on her own. She feels like she's got nobody. She's got nothing. And she thought that Tootie was the one. Nope.
Well, with that being said, Skylar has said that leading up to Cameron Burnett doing what she did to Skylar, that she had been talking to Tootie and that she didn't trust Cameron Burnett, and that Tootie Lynn kept coming back with the she's good. You don't have to worry about Cameron Burnett type thing. And lo and behold, what was it, 5 months ago or so, Cameron Burnett comes out there. They were scheduled to have a match, and for those that haven't seen it yet, you can go to YouTube and watch World League Wrestling Showdown, and you can see exactly what happened. But Cameron Burnett using those crutches, like you said, could have been the catalyst that completely flipped that switch. But I think that switch was being turned on already with her questioning what Cameron Burnett was up to. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do have this championship match and the ending of it all. So, but it's while it's true that Tootie Lynn and Skylar Sparks ushered in the new ladies division at World League Wrestling, I've got to kind of understand where Skylar Sparks is coming from, and this is coming from the person that got cold cocked in the head with a microphone. I get it, but I understand her angst and her frustration, because being a referee, and you know this, Martin, you were a senior referee there at WLW for a long time. You know, her competitive drive is really what got her through everything to get that medical clearance. And so she truly believes in her heart that she is the one, not her and Tootie, not Tootie, but her. She is the one that has ushered back in the ladies division. Marty, your thoughts?
Well, she did play a big part, but on the other hand of that, you know, it wouldn't happen without someone for her to take that dance with.
Yeah, it takes two to tango.
Literally,
Sure.
I mean, without Tootie Lynn showing up to fight her, it wouldn't have started back up in the first place, and we wouldn't have seen all of the female talent that we've seen come through World League to try and take a chance. But the thing is that the stalwarts have been Tootie Lynn and Skylar.
Mm-hmm.
And Tootie's had a death choke hold on the title since it got reinstated.
Yeah,
and,
she has.
And you know, we were just talking about kind of like the deep cut thought. Maybe she told Cameron Bernay to take care of Elaney Harley.
Hey, you got to remember, that's an interesting path to go down and
that's
think
a
about,
backstage
because
thing. That's not just
right. Because what I'm saying is, Cameron Bernay and Tootie Lynn have a past.
Yeah, they do. You're not wrong.
They've known each other for quite a long time,
and that's also why Tootie was telling Skylar, Cameron is okay. She's good.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about her. Blah, blah, blah.
But this is the wrestling business. You worry about everybody.
Yeah. You've got to have eyes.
Even the guy standing next to you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong in there either.
Because it's all about one thing. The gold. Plain and simple.
Exactly. Checks and championships, right? AJ?
Yeah, we've seen Skylar Sparks become a lot more anger and fear-induced rage-induced ever
aggressive.
Since. Yeah.
Very aggressive.
Very. Hitting you with that microphone and doing all of these devastating things, and I would call mean things.
They are mean things. But she's also, and I understand it, she's also fighting fire with fire. And what she did to Cameron Bernay, like you guys said a few minutes ago, that really was a receipt. A full-blown receipt. Paid in full.
That's right.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see the movements forward here if we are going to get this match at WLW 25. And also, you know, moving forward from there as well. So, and that's just a few of the matches that have been announced so far. But I also wonder, with the last event, Astonishing Austin Militalo put out the challenge for himself and the Sergeant at Arms, Blade Lennox, to face Kyle Roberts and the leader of Dysfunction, Brandon Espinoza, for those WLW Tag Team Championships. And Marty, again, with you having an up-close eye, are these the two? Are these the two that are going to be able not only dethrone the Tag Team Champions, but hold on to the championships for a very long time as well? Because we saw Camaro Jackson and we saw Leland Race. They defeated, Dysfunction, but it wasn't very long thereafter that Dysfunction took those belts right back again.
Well, we've called so many of these matches. I love Austin Militalo and I love Blade Lennox.
Mm-hmm.
They're great guys. They work hard, but we've been dealing with this Dysfunction nonsense for so long.
Several years now.
And every time somebody gets an answer, Espinoza changes the damn question.
You ain't wrong.
And it's just become it's become like morning coffee to me at this point. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Dysfunction always has another card to play.
And also that
remember there's two more. There's four of them really.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So you
about
never
to just
know
say.
what combination is going to show up.
Well, I mean, you run around screaming, "Join us!" everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
There might be more than
we know of. Yeah, that's true too.
There might be people. I mean, the last time Austin did this, there was a new dysfunction member on his team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you're talking about Jack Parker Jr. from Night of Champions 5.
He told me not to say his name anymore.
Really?
Well, you didn't say it.
So. I said it, and I'll say it again. Jack Parker Jr. He turned on.
You're just looking to get punched in the mouth again, aren't you?
You know what? I'm doing my
That's
job.
That's why I worry about the matches I got to call.
I'm doing my job, though.
That's what it's going to be after I have to say it.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a job to do, right? And I can't just like the wrestlers, just like anybody else. The show must go on, correct? So, I gotta keep bringing up the issues that need to be talked about.
Jack Parker is one of the most dangerous men I have seen come into WLW in a long time. Undeniable.
I have a question for you on that particular item of being the most dangerous person in WLW. Who's more dangerous? And I've got my own thoughts on this, but I want to hear you guys' first. The old Derek Stone that we saw that just left not too long ago, because he was running roughshod over everybody in WLW, or Jack Parker Jr. as a part of dysfunction.
Jack Parker Jr., and I'll tell you why. That's an easy answer. Because Derek Stone didn't do the work. John and Camaro did the work for him.
That's true. AJ?
I would say Jack Parker Jr. too. He's been on his own through a lot of this. Even whenever he had dysfunction on his side, he was telling them to not get in the way of his match. In the last match he did, we saw him attack him again after the match, going for a 5 count this time, and he got down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Derek Stone always had someone on his side, like CT said, so I feel like that makes Jack Parker Jr. a lot more dangerous in the fact that he can do all these things that Derek Stone did without anyone on his side.
My broadcast partner on Showdown, what's your thoughts on it?
Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Derek Stone literally put fear in me in the ring when he was wrestling, where I just didn't have it in me to make him stop doing stuff. JPJ will just move me out of the way, I'm sure. He's done it backstage a few times.
Oh, yeah.
He's, like I said to everybody here, he's not there to be paid by the hour. He's there to be paid to beat people up. Mm-hmm. And if he can beat people up for dysfunction and it help improve his lot in World League Wrestling, he's going to do that till it's not beneficial for him anymore.
Yeah.
And Espinoza's smart enough to keep making it beneficial for him right now.
Yeah, yeah. You're very
and I think you just said something too that's very important. While it's beneficial to him, but what happens when it's not beneficial to Jack Parker anymore?
That's a good question, Marty.
He's a shark.
Yeah.
He's gonna do what he needs to do to eat.
Yes.
And he knows how to eat.
If you're not feeding him anymore, then he'll find a way to feed.
You know what? I will say this. Night of Champions 5, we had that 6-man. It was Brandon Espinoza, Kyle Roberts, the Iron Bear Tom Coffey, and that was the last time, pretty much that we've seen the Iron Bear around. So he's always still lurking in the background, and he could strike at any time as well. However, in that 6-man, of course, Austin Mulitalo and Mason St. Goods tried their best, but the one that was dominating on their team was Jack Parker Jr. He wasn't holding back. He was still laying it into those other members of dysfunction. And, he, to be honest, in my eyes, Jack Parker Jr. was getting the best of the better of dysfunction, all three members. I mean,
I think individually, and this is just my opinion, I'm not speaking for anybody else, it's just my opinion, one-on-one Jack Parker Jr. could take any one of those members.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it. The problem is it's never a one-on-one match.
Yeah.
So, stand by the devil you know, which is what he's doing right now, and I feel like a time is going to come when it's not going to be beneficial for him anymore, and I think you're going to see it.
Yeah.
Because Jack is about Jack.
Yeah. Jack comes first, regardless in his mind. But also, and you brought up a good point a few moments ago with Brandon Espinoza. His mind is so devious that really in the back, there could be other members, like Marty had said. There could be other members of dysfunction floating around that we have no absolute clue about.
I think he thinks he's devious.
Oh, he does believe he's devious.
I'd like to buy him for what he's worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth. Because a day's going to come. A day's going to come when he's going to get outsmarted.
You might be right, and that could happen at Night of Champions, Marty.
I'm just, him saying that, maybe JPJ's his Waterloo.
We don't know, but that's what makes World League Wrestling so exciting.
Yeah.
Is you don't know.
No, because truly at the next show it could be Austin.
You don't know.
It could be Blade Lennox.
Because let's look at Blade and Austin for just a moment.
Sure.
Either one of those guys is immediately at any point in time a contender for a title. At any point, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Blade just debuted not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And already, if you watch him, I could see him as a contender for that junior heavyweight at any point in time.
Sure.
Seriously.
Agreed.
Austin, as good as that kid is, he's a contender for either one of those top titles at any point in time, whether it's the heavyweight or the junior. And on any given night, he could get the better of any one of the superstars at any point in time. And so those are two guys that you just have to keep your eyes on because, man, there's a horizon for those guys. They are just shooting it, man.
Right. There's no ceiling. It's
I don't think so.
It's all.
Yeah, the sky is not the limit. It goes beyond that. Yeah.
And then you've even got some newer guys coming in that are just unbelievable too.
That's right. We're coming into an amazing era for World League Wrestling.
I think so.
Right now.
Mm-hmm. And think about it. A lot of these guys are homegrown.
Yeah.
They were trained right there at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy in Attack the Mat.
Yep.
And when you train there, you're learning. The spirit of Harley is still in that building. You're learning from the guys who learned from Harley. This is still Harley's way.
Mm-hmm.
Very much. Very, very much.
You're still touching that Harley royalty when you're training there because that's still the same knowledge. It's all right there. Steve could walk in that building at any point in time during training. Leland's always there. You don't know who's going to show up. Trevor could show up.
Exactly.
And when you want to talk about old school Harley training,
there you go.
Trevor Murdoch.
Yep, for sure.
Well, and I mean the other guys, like you said there with Trevor Murdoch, the people that it brings in, and
what if John shows up at any point in time? Anybody could show up in there that's been trained there.
We had back in the past we've had Laurinaitis there helping. Animal was there helping.
Animal was there.
Yeah.
And just recently we had Ricky Morton standing in there. We had
we just had Gabe Sapolsky come in and do a seminar
last weekend.
It's not just Harley, but it's a fusion of Harley and what things are changing into too.
Yeah. It's evolving for sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
For sure. 100%.
It's exciting to watch.
Now, before we go to break here in about 10 seconds or 30 seconds or so, I find this very, very interesting, and we're going to talk about this about this particular person when we come back as well. Big Mike Maverick, who we saw get his first win over
one of the ones I was talking about.
Lennox.
That's the one I was talking about. That's one of them.
With that comment that All Day Aiden Riley made, he says, and I quote, "Aiden Riley, I agree." Whoa. We got to take a break real quick, but we will be right back here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO.
People are talking about Don Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center, setting the standard for authentic Mexican food and great drinks. Carry out or dine in 7 days a week at both great locations. Stop in or order online for carry out at donjulioswinfield.com or donjuliostroy.com. Don Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center. And don't forget, buy one, get one free on Wednesday in Troy and on Monday in Winfield. That's Don Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center. Veteran owned and operated. Bringing great authentic Mexican food home to Lincoln County. Hasta pronto!
Out and about once again in Troy, Missouri. South Lincoln Drive means Country State of Mind Designs. I'm talking with Lisa today. There's a saying that goes, if your business doesn't have a sign, there's no sign of your business.
That's correct.
So Country State of Mind Designs does so much more than just signs. But that's the main thrust of things, right? You're trying to help the visibility of local businesses to ensure their viability.
We thrive on helping you guys be noticeable and recognizable. We can do anything from light signs, flat signs, vehicle graphics, shirts.
You guys have a lot more to offer than just signs.
We do embroidery here. We also have the newest and latest t-shirt with the direct-to-film printer. We actually print in-house.
You guys have a great website at countrystateofminddesigns.com. And if somebody wants to talk about an upcoming project, Lisa, how do they get a hold of you?
636-775-1117, or they can email us at csmdesigns.troy@gmail.com.
Out and about in Troy, Missouri at Country State of Minds at 139 South Lincoln Drive. Come see Lisa and the whole staff today.
As Mississippi River levels drop and grain shipments are delayed, your stored grain is at risk for longer than expected. Gravista D insecticide is the ideal solution, combining an adulticide, a synergist, and an insect growth regulator. Apply as grain is loaded into storage to help reduce shrink and insect-damaged kernels by up to 18%. Protect your grain from bugs with Gravista D insecticide from Central Life Sciences. Visit bugfreegrains.com to learn more.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 49 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 60s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 50s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 69. In Wentzville it's 68 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Of course, also on the KYRO Facebook page, Traveling East Productions Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, and YouTube as well. Go like and subscribe. And of course on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook as well. Join us with your questions and your comments. We'll definitely get to them. Now, here in the studio with me, well, actually, both C.T. Harrison and Martin Kadich have stepped away just for a few moments. But that's okay, because I've still got in studio with me from the AJ Awesome Show, AJ Kadich. And thank you again, young man, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me on.
So you have a really cool little show that you do on YouTube called the AJ Awesome Show, where you get to go around to different organizations all over the country and get to talk to different wrestlers. Now, I like to say I do the long interviews here on the radio, and you get to do the short in-person, up-close, in-your-face type interviews. Who are some of the ones in your mind as your favorites that stand out for you that you've done so far?
Well, there's really not an interview I would say is better than the others. All of them have been amazing.
Cody's not going to be happy with you.
I've said that to Cody himself. I feel like the interview I did with SCU was 33 minutes. It was not short, but it was a lot of fun. All the interviews I've did with Cody, there were a lot of interviews, like with Kurt Angle and the ones back then, that I learned a lot from, and I feel like those are important to be pointed out too.
Sure. What's some of your favorite questions that you like to ask? Because I mean, you're one of those ones that are pretty much all over the board, and nothing is off limits, basically. But you kind of go off the cuff with it as well. So what's some of those questions that you like to ask?
I feel like the question I asked to CM Punk at Revolution 2022, I believe, where I asked him about Harley and how it felt to get through all of that stuff with him and how it was. It switched the mood of the room pretty much instantly. He switched from crying to laughing, and I feel like that was one of my favorite questions I've asked.
Nice. Very cool. Well, rejoining us in the studio, of course, we've got C.T. Harrison and Martin Kadich. Both of you guys, thank you again for joining us this morning here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk. And, you know, something that we mentioned before we went to last break, and we've got about 8 minutes before the top of the hour. Big Mike Maverick coming onto the Facebook feed and saying that to Aiden Riley, all day Aiden Riley, that he agrees with what he said about himself and Superstar being greater than everyone else. Burgundy likes to say some of the best conversations happen in between segments. And Martin, you brought up something that I hadn't even thought of until you said it. And that is Superstar Steve getting this group, I guess you could say, of young men together and quote-unquote teaching them the way. Wow.
Well, I mean, Superstar Steve, he could be building a stable of proteges.
Yeah.
He wants to protect that title. He wants to hold on to it as long as he can. He wants that big paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if he's got Aiden Riley with a steel pipe, and well, let's be honest, Big Mike. I mean, he's not called Big Mike because
6'8",
he's just a little large.
Pounds.
Wow. And he doesn't know his own strength. He's literally picked me up with one arm.
Yeah.
And he'd be a threat to anybody in the ring at his skill level right now.
Well, a little while ago, just a few minutes ago before the break, we talked about, I mentioned, you know, the new guys coming up and the newer guys, and Mike is one of them I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Wild.
And now Mike has got so much potential, not just because of his size, but he's got the potential to be just as mean, if not meaner, than a Jack Parker Jr.
He has a killer instinct in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a guy like Steve could teach him how to actually use it.
Mm-hmm. And being up there the few times, you know, during training and stuff, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, Marty, that Big Mike absorbs everything he's seeing and truly learns from everything he is watching and puts it to the test.
That's right.
And comes out on top of that test every single time.
I mean, at training when I was there to see it, you know, there's no going over to check the phone during training.
No.
If he has to go and do something away from the ring, He's watching the ring the whole time he's away from the ring, and he's not paying attention to what he's doing. This young man is all about wrestling. This young man is all about straps. He wants titles. He wants them now, and we've seen him in the ring a few times. He's not willing to wait.
He could very well be a future heavyweight champion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is you seen him in the Door to Destiny throwing people around.
Wow.
Big men, big men throwing them around.
Like they were rag dogs.
If he wants it, who's going to stop him?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Superstar Steve won't allow that to happen, but I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, Marty, go ahead. I mean, you've got thoughts. Please speak them.
Well, I mean, Espinoza thinks he's got Jack Parker under control.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Big Mike Maverick is one of the biggest people I've ever seen to come into World League Wrestling. I don't know if some of these people might know how to fight someone as big as Big Mike Maverick. He definitely has some sort of experience with fighting people that they don't have, that they would be fighting him. I feel like we could see him rise up the ranks and take one of those titles. He is him. He could be the one to do it.
Could be. You never know.
And fun fact, Big Mike Maverick was a wrestler in high school.
Yes.
And very good at it.
Yeah. So he was coming in with a little bit of, well, not a little bit, a lot of amateur background. And like I said, when almost from day one, when he first stepped into the ropes to start training, he has been nothing but a sponge and soaking it all in. And it's really wild because you wouldn't think with seeing the other younger members of that generation out there and about right now, you wouldn't have thought that at first because of what the younger generation is doing, right? But he is completely a different animal.
Well, this is one of the things that makes World League Wrestling so exciting is we, in this room right now, have had the opportunity to see several classes come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this class is probably, that last class with Moses and Raheem and those guys that came in was an exciting class.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this new class, too, is going to be just as exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, you got Blade Lennox.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You've got Aiden Riley.
Aiden Riley.
You've got Big Mike Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
Skyler.
You've got Skyler. Skyler's been going for a long time.
Yeah, true, but it's still still in that
I
kind of a
would
wave.
put her in the class with Moses and Raheem and Austin.
Because she was.
She came after, but okay.
She just wasn't starting that class as a wrestler. She started as a referee.
Yeah.
But that's because there still wasn't a women's division for her.
True.
But we've spoke of him, but we haven't really talked about him, and that's Jeff Wild.
Yeah.
He is an anomaly.
He truly is.
And the kid can go.
Mm-hmm. He can. You're not wrong. You're not wrong on that.
And every time Jeff Wild comes out, the crowd absolutely loves him. So he definitely has that under his belt, having the crowd pumping him on through every moment.
There's just some kind of chemistry that guy has. Some kind of charisma.
His debut,
for some reason, and I don't know what it is.
His debut was, of course, at the Door to Destiny Rumble.
Yes.
And the moment, the split second that he walked through that curtain and out into the aisleway, the crowd at the Race Wrestling Arena absolutely went bonkers. Completely nutso. And he hadn't even done anything.
And he's got so much growing room in his in his abilities. He's also one of those I think doesn't really have a ceiling.
Yep.
He's got room to go.
Well, we have got about 10 seconds here before the top of the hour, but we will be right back at about 6 after with the second hour of Uncensored Wrestling Talk.
Yay.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 11 o'clock in the Heartland.
Fox News, I'm Ted Linder. SpaceX this morning launching its enormous Starship rocket, pulling off its riskiest test yet, catching the booster with mechanical arms at the launch pad. The 400-foot rocket blasted off at sunrise from southern Texas, soaring over the Gulf of Mexico. In a historic first, the 232-foot booster landed back at the pad 7 minutes later, gently caught by the tower's chopstick arms. Elon Musk declaring on X, quote, "The tower has caught the rocket," as cheers erupted from employees. And at least one person's dead, 9 others hurt after a mass shooting in Nashville, Tennessee Saturday. Police say 2 groups of people began firing at each other near Tennessee State University.
We are confident that at least one of the persons who is at a local hospital was involved in the actual gunfire, was shooting, had a gun.
Nashville police spokesman Don Aaron, 3 of the shooting victims were juveniles. Police say a motive for the gunfire is being investigated. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing higher for the day and week, with the Dow and S&P 500 notching new records as big banks delivered upbeat earnings, and as another inflation reading was mostly tame, pointing to a still favorable inflation outlook and supporting views that the Fed will slash interest rates again next month. The Dow up 410 points, the Nasdaq higher by 61, S&P 500 up 35. Shares of Boeing are falling after hours. Its new CEO Kelly Ortberg announced that the aerospace giant will slash 17,000 jobs, or 10% of its global workforce, and delay first delivery of its 777X jet by a year as a month-long strike is battering the company's finances. Boeing is also warning of deeper quarterly losses. J.P. Morgan, the biggest bank in the country, continued to earn more than expected on lending in the third quarter and raised its forecast. Its stock rose 5%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
Including the pre-Super Bowl era, what NFL franchise has won the most NFL championships?
I'm going to say the Cowboys.
Good guess. I would say the Packers.
How'd you do? Exactly. These get tougher, so hang on.
Make sure you take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Thank you for taking the quiz.
We've been fighting the war on drugs for a long time. We answer the phone 24/7, 365 days a year. On a busy night, we answer hundreds of calls. This war on drugs needs our intervention.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has helped people struggling with drugs and alcohol.
When the phone rings, we help people when they need it the most. When we get a caller into treatment, it feels good. It's a blessing.
If you're struggling, drinking, using, and need to get clean, don't suffer alone in silence. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Our people understand, and many are also in recovery. Call for support and strength. You can call for someone who can't or isn't willing. It's an act of love. Together we can help you beat this thing and erase addiction from your vocabulary once and for all.
Call 800-308-8292. That's 800-308-8292. 800-308-8292.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, Here's Isaac Lowenkron.
In London right now, the Chicago Bears have a 21-10 lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars with 56 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, 19 of 24 for 180 yards and 3 touchdown passes, including this one.
Snap to Caleb. Good protection. Middle of the field, up in the air, over the middle for the touchdown. Touchdown Bears. And it's Keenan Allen. What a throw, what a catch, and the Bears extend their lead to 20-3 over Jacksonville. How about that?
Jeff Jodiak the call on WMVP. Green Bay Packers receiver Christian Watson is active against Arizona today, as is cornerback Jair Alexander. Joe Flacco will start at the quarterback position for the Colts today at Tennessee. Anthony Richardson, who has an oblique injury, will serve as the emergency number 3 quarterback.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 49 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 60s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 50s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 69. In Wentzville it's 68 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios here, News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Also, of course, on the KYRO Facebook page, Traveling East Productions Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Rumble. Go like and subscribe. And also on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page, join us with your questions and your comments. Great conversations that we've had so far. Now into the second hour of this awesome show. You know, at noon, in less than an hour, we will have NASCAR live directly from Charlotte. And that'll be interesting.
And also at 1 o'clock, just because Leland is such a great, huge fan of it, there will be a D&D game going on, a Dungeons and Dragons game.
You think he'll show up and join?
Oh, I think he should.
That would be great character development
for him. He hates it when we talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, he does. He does hate it. And Marty's always bringing it up all the time.
I know. That's because he's into all that anime and video games and stuff.
Yeah, he's really a huge player in Call of Duty as well.
Leland Race will murder you in Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah. Quick.
Quick. Destroy you. Mm-hmm. I know this for a fact because
I want to see him play Kofi.
Him.
I want to see him play with Kofi and
2 out of 3 falls.
Not in the ring.
Oh
no, D&D. We're talking D&D here.
We're talking
video
Call
game.
of Duty.
Oh, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Ooh. 2 out of 3 falls.
I can see him on up, down.
Ooh, that would be very interesting.
Or up, down, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, up, down. You were right. Mm-hmm. Wow. So, AJ, awesome. AJ Kadich here. I've got to ask you, starting last weekend, you had a heck of a week this week, because starting on Saturday, you got to see R-Truth's concert in St. Louis.
Whenever I told you about it, I accidentally said the wrong day. It was Sunday.
Okay,
but it was a lot of fun of a show. They had local artists come out and perform before R-Truth came out. Whenever R-Truth came out, the crowd was electric. It was a lot of fun. And after the show, we went to the side and did a meet and greet. He was a really cool guy. I got a photo with him. It was nice to finally be able to meet him.
I think with R-Truth, he is one of the most likable and gravitating towards characters that WWE has. And he is definitely, in my eyes anyway, a day one Hall of Famer. As soon as his career is over with, he needs to be put right into that Hall of Fame. What do you guys think?
R-Truth is a whole package. He is a fantastic entertainer, a fantastic wrestler, charismatic personality. He's a wrestler's wrestler. Like he's everything. He's the whole package.
Ditto.
And a lot of people I see online going, "Oh, they're wasting R-Truth doing all this silly stuff and making him this comic thing." I don't think you understand the type of person that R-Truth is. If you don't think he is enjoying the hell out of his career right now, all the way to the bank, you're wrong, because that boy is having fun.
Yeah. Well, we saw not too long ago, in fact, 2 weeks ago, The Miz turning on R-Truth.
What's The Miz? What do you expect?
Exactly. And so apparently tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, we are going to get The Miz taking on R-Truth.
I will say this, and a lot of people disagree, and I don't really care. I enjoy The Miz.
Yeah.
The Miz is a much better heel than he ever is a face.
True.
Ditto.
And he's very, when he's in the ring, he goes 100%. And he's very talented. He can wrestle with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He's people don't give him enough credit in that ring.
Yeah.
This is a guy who put up with a whole lot of crap when he first started.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he had an attitude, and he gave a lot of crap.
And he brought a lot of it on himself.
He did. Yeah. But this is also a guy who became more than what I think he ever thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
He has accomplished a lot in the wrestling industry and has become a staple of WWE. I think he's one of those guys that even when Vince was there, he knew he could count on him. Triple H knows he can count on him.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. He's he's everything.
He is one of those few that in the career that he's had, he is one of those few that has become a Grand Slam champion several times over.
Mm-hmm.
And that list of wrestlers that has accomplished that in the WWE actually is a very, very small, short list. I mean, wow. He's also, like I said about R-Truth, he's also one of those ones that the moment that he retires, he deserves, he's earned it to be put into that WWE Hall of Fame pretty much right away.
I would agree that he is a Hall of Famer for sure.
Definitely.
Marty?
I mean, you could just go ahead and say it right now. The Miz is what we would call a living legend at this point. Now, a lot of people don't like to say things like that.
Yeah.
But he is WWE through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Start to finish, he's taken on every challenge of every era.
He's given back so much.
Yeah. That as well, but he's also excelled all the way to this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like this man is in rare air for WWE. He's a living legend in pro wrestling.
Guys like The Miz and R-Truth both are perfect candidates for after their in-ring career is over. You have them work with new talent. You have them as agents. You have them as trainers at the academy. You know what I mean? This is a guy you don't let go of these guys, because what they know and what's in their head needs to be passed on. If it isn't, it's a waste.
Yeah, and he is also, let's be honest about it, he's also one of those few that has only, since his beginnings, he has stayed in WWE. He has not bounced around.
Right.
He hasn't gone over to New Japan.
But he also hasn't been let go either. So he hasn't been given the opportunity to go anywhere. But a guy like The Miz, I could honestly see a guy like The Miz, if he was ever let go, that man could walk into New Japan and tear it up.
Yeah. Yeah, he could thrive in any situation, regardless of where it's at.
He's a character you could throw on a TNA program and make that show 100 times better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm not putting down TNA at all, because I'm rather enjoying TNA quite a bit. Especially with the crossover stuff.
Well, see, that's what I was going to go to real quick. That it's a great segue, because with TNA and WWE working together like they have over the last couple of months, I'm a little surprised that they haven't had some of the, I guess you could say, more established stars like The Miz.
Just hang on.
Yeah, it might still come.
I think it's going to happen. I just don't. I think they're just. You got to realize this is a brand new relationship. Mm-hmm. They are still testing the waters. They're still trusting each other. They're still doing. And I think that I could honestly see a guy like Cena showing up over there at any point in time too. You could see anything. I think we're in a man. And I said this back when we used to all do the show, and I said, this is a fans market because there's something out there for everyone. WWE and TNA have turned the knob up, because now we can have the ability to see fantasy matches that we never thought we'd be able to see.
Very true.
And I think we're going to get some more of that. Right now, they're just playing the NXT card. But I think eventually you're going to see some larger, because we've had TNA stars on, Raw and SmackDown. We've had them on our pay-per-views.
Sure.
I think we're just testing those waters right now. And I think pretty soon, a guy like Triple H knows business. He knows what he's doing. I trust Triple H 100% with this. And I'm trusting Khan with it too, and I'm trusting the new. I think the new owners. You can never take away what Vince McMahon has meant to the wrestling industry, and what he has done.
Sure,
but I also feel like Triple H has got a lot to give.
Yeah,
he's that. I think that Triple H is that conduit between the old school way of doing a lot of things that Vince's ideas were story-wise and everything, to bringing it up to date, to more, because if you've noticed, we're seeing a lot of the stuff that we complained that WWE didn't do that we enjoyed about, like AEW. Now we see WWE doing some of those things. So we're seeing WWE grow under the leadership, under this new leadership, and the parent company that owns it, I think, is giving them a lot of rope and saying, "Do what you got to do, Trips. Do it. You know that business."
From I guess the early '80s, well, late '70s, when Vincent Kennedy McMahon took over from his father. I understand, like, for the first 3/4 of quote-unquote Vince's career that he didn't do it, but I think he really missed the ball the last 5 years or so, maybe 8 years of him being in charge of WWE, of not partnering up with other organizations. Because, wow.
He did a lot of stuff with Japan. There was a lot of that going on, but that died off. He killed those relationships.
Yeah.
And we didn't get as much of that as we should have.
And that's what I'm saying.
We got a taste, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I think that AEW has done with dealing with the New Japan stuff and all that. But they're doing, right now for me, they're doing an overkill with the AAA stuff.
Yeah.
With the luchadors. There's too many.
There is a lot.
Way too many.
There is a lot. But
that should be and I get it. I love the luchador style. Don't get me wrong, but today's wrestling is no different than the luchadors anymore.
Yeah,
because a lot of that stuff is being done on an every match basis now, and so it's not an attraction anymore.
Yeah.
So having that many of them is just overkill now.
And I know that when their contracts are up with AEW, the Lucha Brothers, of course, Pentagon and Ray Phoenix. I got this. I think that they are going to go ahead and make that jump over to WWE.
Oh, I think they should.
Yes.
Yeah, but back to the whole crossover back and forth deal though with TNA and WWE. One of the matches that I am just clamoring, wanting to see is, and it doesn't have to be over belts. It's just two big men getting in the ring and mixing it up with each other, and that's Obafemi against Moose.
Yeah. You brought up the Lucha Brothers, though. There's something I want to throw out there.
Go ahead, please.
Because I like to stir the pot.
Okay.
One of the greatest stories that was ever told was the Outsiders going into WCW, because you didn't know if they were WWE guys coming in there to ruin it or not. Right. That was a great story, right?
Yeah.
What if they leave AEW? There's no announcements. There's nothing of them. Maybe they're going back to Mexico or something. That's what we're told.
Mm-hmm.
We know nothing of a WWE contract. We know nothing. What if all of a sudden they showed up on TNA?
Mm.
And throughout, you play that out for a little bit until they've got, tag titles over there or whatever, and then come to find out they've been WWE the whole time.
Wow. That would be quite interesting for sure.
Just to play on the old Outsiders storyline and just kind of up the game a little bit.
What's old is new again? Yeah. It's worked before.
And now you've got another company to play with.
Yeah. AJ?
And I mean, they could do a similar thing with the Motor City Machine Guns too, since they have such a huge history in TNA and Impact Wrestling. We saw a teaser on SmackDown with car driving past with next week. After it, I feel like we could see the Motor City Machine Guns next week, and they could do something like that with TNA.
It's possible.
I don't know if they wouldn't be the ones to do that with, though,
because of the fact that they've already been over in TNA and
that, and I don't think they're not that they're not that type of a character. Whereas the Lucha Brothers would be that type of a character.
I mean,
to tell that type of a story, anyways.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time that Triple H called a hit on someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
True point.
And I mean, what better group of four to be a part of something like that? I mean, he has a lot of resources at hand if he wants to do that. So the speculation of who it could be is endless, but the Lucha Brothers could probably destroy a lot of TNA.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, we're going to jump.
They could destroy a lot of WWE, too.
Oh, yeah. We'll jump right back into more of that also. But real quick before we go to our break, Herb Simmons on the Facebook feed saying, "Good morning, gentlemen." Good morning to you, Mr. Simmons. I hope that you're having a great Sunday morning. We appreciate you joining us. And we are going to take our first break of the second hour here of Uncensored Wrestling Talk. And we will be right back.
Need that morning pick-me-up on your way to work? Downtown Winfield's the place to be. Common Grounds Coffee House, featuring the almost world-famous Block 25. Common Grounds Coffee House. Check us out on Facebook or stop by today, 205 Main Street, downtown Winfield.
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank & Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at pbtc.net. People's Bank & Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
24-hour towing and recovery in Lincoln, Warren, Pike, or St. Charles County. Call B&B Towing, 636-262-3865. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. B&B will be on the way, 636-262-3865.
Welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. And, of course, all of the Facebook and Twitter and Rumble and YouTube feeds that we've got going on. Again, a special thank you to C.T. Harrison for joining me this morning.
Well, sure, you say that now.
AJ Kadich from the AJ Awesome Show. Go check his material out and stuff out on YouTube. Thank you for joining us this morning, young man.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, my broadcast partner for World League Wrestling Showdown. You can go and see those episodes on YouTube and sometimes on the World League Wrestling Facebook page as well. The one and only, the former senior WLW referee, Martin Kadich.
I mean, we're this far in, and you want to give me all of that now to try?
I gave it to you all at the very beginning as well.
I do what I do.
You do what you do. That's for sure.
You know, one of the favorite sayings is, "Well, that's just Marty doing Marty things."
No, that's Raheem doing Raheem things.
No, that's we say
that's
it about
a Marty
you.
thing about you.
We say it about you.
He said he's stealing it. He stole it.
Yeah, he already did steal it. long time ago.
There you go.
So, something else that we saw, that have been seeing on Raw over the last couple of months playing out, was Braun Strowman against Bronson Reed. Two monsters just going at it. And now we've seen the ring collapse before, but I don't think we've seen it collapse in the way that we saw it between those two huge behemoths. But now, and at the end of that, and if you haven't seen it, too bad, spoiler, Seth freaking Rollins coming in and curb stomping Bronson Reed's head on those steel steps. Holy moly. But is it really truly over now between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed?
That will never be over.
I don't think so either. There's
a lot to get out of that. We just saw a taste whenever Bronson Reed landed on Braun Strowman on that car. That was an amazing moment, and I feel like there are many more like that to come.
It was a wild moment, wasn't it? And Marty, this one is directed to you, directly to you from the Facebook, I think.
Uh-oh.
Herb Simmons says, the ref is always correct.
I mean, that's true all the way up into the video review and the commission telling you
until the promoter calls you and says, "Hey,
right.
idiot."
But yeah, 100% is as long right between them bells, especially the ref is always right. And, well, I'm always right
on TV. It's always right. Yeah.
Until
the phone call after them. Yeah.
But no, the thing with Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman is who's not going to see the next Godzilla versus Kong sequel?
True.
Because everybody's going to see that just the same as they're going to want to see these two big kaiju fight each other again too.
Very, very true.
And I mean, what a better matchup for each other, and Seth Rollins can try and come in and pick the bones if he's capable.
I mean, it's been a month and a half since we've seen Seth Rollins, and of course that was because of the 6 tsunamis that Bronson Reed delivered to that guy. And that's got to be one of the most devastating moves I've seen in a long time from Bronson Reed. That just splash off the top rope. Who can survive that? I mean, honestly,
I don't think
apparently he can.
Well, I mean, apparently
Seth can.
I guess so.
You asked the question. I'm just saying apparently Seth can.
You're right. But it took him a little while to get through it, though. And is he truly 100%? We're going to see going forward. But, man, oh, man. Let's jump real quick. And we're going to bounce around in this hour, and I get it. It happens on this show. But Friday Night SmackDown, something very, very interesting to me. AJ Styles making his comeback, going up against young upstart Cameron, oh gosh darn it,
Carmelo Hayes.
Thank you, brain fart there. And in the first third of that match, AJ going down with a serious ankle injury. AJ, what was your thoughts on it?
I thought it was amazing to finally see AJ Styles back. He was one of my favorite wrestlers, and seeing him go down like that, it was terrible to see one of your favorite wrestlers just come back and instantly be put out. I'm hoping he can come back soon. I wish him a speedy recovery.
Well, I mean, rumor is that when he came back Friday night, that was going to be the beginning of his own retirement tour so to speak. I don't know. I think personally, the way that I've seen him move and do things over the last several years and stuff, I think he's got at least another 3 or 4 more years in him. CT, what do you think?
Well, I don't know where you got that information on his retirement tour thing, because the only thing that I had heard in the last year was he was good to go for another 5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he was looking at. So I don't know what.
Just reading different articles and stuff like that, and him speaking.
Oh, fan speculation.
No. It was him talking on a podcast. I'm trying to remember which podcast it was now, but it doesn't really matter. It came from him saying that he was going to have this retirement tour, and his retirement
at some
tour
point
could be several years.
Oh, I would think so. For him, it would need to be.
Yeah.
Leading up to, now I do know that I think it would lead up to it would lead up to something big. It would take. He's one of those that you want to give a good 3, 4, 5 years to lead up to something major. Kind of like it's not on the same level, but kind of what I mean is the same thing as ending the streak kind of thing. He deserves to have a going away party,
Yeah,
some
for
sort.
Sure. Absolutely, 100%. And with this injury, I'm just hoping that it's not as serious, because if it's like an Achilles heel, a tear in that type of area, a person can be out for a good anywhere between 6 and 9 months or so.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see exactly what goes on. But how about the job that L.A. Knight, is doing on SmackDown, AJ?
Oh, he's tearing through every single contender that comes through that belt. I'm actually really surprised on how well he's fighting with that belt. I'm very happy that he beat Logan Paul at SummerSlam, but I feel like soon we might see a contender step up to take that title. I feel like Carmelo Hayes, I believe he just lost to LA Knight, but I feel like if he keeps on going through, he could possibly win. And we have Andrade coming up too, who has been very strong, winning 3 of the 6 matches, going exactly even. I feel like they're going to have one more match. And
they've got to, right?
Yeah, make it a best of 7. And the winner of that could defeat LA Knight for the title.
Well, I mean, Andrade's already had a match with LA Knight as well. But his match was for the U.S. Championship. And you know what? LA Knight brought it to him, and he came out on top, 1, 2, 3, still retaining that championship. Marty, I see you over there. Your thoughts on this whole progression of L.A. Knight? Yeah.
Well, the title and him look good together. The fans love him and that title together. It could go a long way. And I promise you, the man that's going to take that title off of his hands, well, he's not in the picture right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who it is, but it's not these guys right now.
Interesting take on that. CT, what's your thoughts on what he just said?
I think the title will change hands sooner than you think. I don't think his momentum is what it was.
It's interesting.
But on that note, I don't know who it would be. You know, that's I don't.
And even if somebody can take the title from him, that doesn't necessarily take him out of the picture.
No,
not at all.
And that's what I'm saying. Like he's elevating the title and himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think LA Knight is going anywhere for any kind of short term.
Interesting.
And with the way things have went with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, I don't know that they can't get out of their own heads against each other.
Yeah.
To really make it a serious threat.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. AJ.
I feel like there will be a certain type of confidence that comes with winning this best of 7, though, from either Carmelo Hayes or Andrade that could push them to beat LA Knight like they couldn't do
Push
before.
them over that top.
Yep.
Yeah, it could. I mean, we've seen best of 7s in the past where that really did truly elevate that winner of that best of 7. So, yeah, either one of them could be pushed to that Cloud 9 type thing and get that much wanted win over LA Knight for that U.S. championship.
I feel like there also is the fact that it would eliminate the distraction that they have with each other, because they each kind of have costed each other a U.S. title opportunity by being there and taking distraction off of the opponent in the goal, which is defeating LA Knight.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be if you're LA Knight.
Yeah. You're not wrong there. Hey, we've got about 5 minutes before we take our last break here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk, but let's go ahead and jump in real quick. This whole bloodline situation that's been developing over the last several weeks and stuff, it seemed like it was, and this is just me personally, okay, but it seemed like it was kind of dragging along, just waiting for the next steps to be taken in the bloodline saga. And we've gotten that now with Roman Reigns.
What do you mean by dragging?
So what I mean by that is, wow, Jimmy was gone for a long time. Roman Reigns had been gone for a long time. And I don't know, he didn't, when Roman Reigns lost at WrestleMania, he didn't go out because of an injury or anything along those lines. I think it was just more of him trying to step back and recollect and all that kind of thing. And in the meantime, all this other stuff has gone on with Solo Sikoa and everything. But I think that
Where's the dragging part, though?
I think they could have brought him back like maybe 2 months ago or so because I don't know. I know that we talk about the long, slow burn of stuff, but there's sometimes when you've got to light the match already, right?
I don't think so. I think I think it was fine.
Okay.
It played out the way it was supposed to. I liked it.
Right. You called it a saga.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
A little while ago, Paul Heyman said we're in the bottom of the third inning.
Mm-hmm. There's a plan for this.
And the other thing that needs to be said about this whole situation is this is not just two wrestlers who don't like each other or a group of guys who don't like each other.
True.
This is family.
Yeah, it's blood.
Yeah.
And when Roman lost that title, it affected him mentally.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't leave because of an injury. He left for his mental health.
Yeah.
Because he was doing everything he could to hold it all down. And then you go and you take a break and your little snotty cousin comes in and stabs you in the back. And beats up your wise man.
Here's the thing, too, I want you to think about. Knowing Paul Heyman, I would bet you anything that this whole entire storyline has already been laid out for the next 3 or 4 years. This is going to be one of those long-form storytelling. And I'll bet you sitting there on paper, Paul Heyman has it planned out scene by scene.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he knows who's going to do what and where it's coming from. And do not ever forget, there are more Fatus out there.
That's what I was going to bring up.
And the reason I say that is this. Look, I know they brought up Jay's name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, we got to have him. We got to get him. Jay's doing his thing.
Yeah.
It's not time for Jay to come back into the fold yet.
Right.
Jay's working his deal right now. It's not time. But that doesn't mean there isn't a Zilla out there. That doesn't mean there isn't,
This is true. This is very, very
true. There are more to bring on board. And you are seeing right now one of the greatest families that has ever been in professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even talking about The Rock being part of that. I'm just talking about just that family alone.
Yeah.
And what they have meant to the wrestling business over a period of 50, 60 years. more.
I mean, honestly, is there another family bigger than an
there is not.
family?
No, there is not. Now, you've had other families involved. Of course, you've got, the Rhodes and Flair and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But you have never had a family have a hold on the wrestling business that this bloodline has had.
Yeah.
Have you seen that tree that they put up in the WrestleMania? There were
crazy.
Possibly even 100 names up there of people that were in wrestling.
Easy.
And there are a lot of Fatus that could be brought into the storyline. There was The Rock, there's Roman, there's Jimmy, there's Jay, there's Solo, there's Jacob.
And that family's making more every day.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
There's going to come a day when the entire wrestling industry is going to be nothing but Fatus.
I am waiting, and it's going to be really interesting to see which side
all Fatu wrestling
this particular person falls in on. But Hikuleo, both
right.
Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa's brother, and that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to side with his brothers.
Zilla already said he doesn't. He's not. He's not a solo guy.
Wow. I mean,
there's a video of it.
This bloodline, and this is the true bloodline civil war that we're about to start witnessing.
This is probably one of the greatest stories that's been told in a very, very long time, and they've been telling it to us for a couple of years now, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I don't care what all the AEW, crazy boys. There's some words you can't say, but AEW crazy boys.
Yep.
And it's you can't hate on the bloodline, man. It's hard to, because this has been a great, great story. Oh, well, it's slow right now. It's supposed to be. Kick back, enjoy, relax, man. Because when it explodes, it's going to explode.
And see, when I was talking about getting that match lit, I didn't mean for it to be done and over with already. I just meant for it to get started already.
No, I think we needed all this time just for Solo to paint himself into a corner, and that's what he did. Now you've painted yourself into a corner, and you got nothing left to do but to just wait for Roman to take your head off.
Yeah, AJ, you got something?
I feel like that pause too was also so Cody could have more of his story, because Cody finishing his story and all that also tied into the bloodline story, and I feel like Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton will all play a very important part in this story, and they needed time to develop that.
It's possible too. You never know.
We're going to get into that here in just a few moments. Right now, we've got to take our last break here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk. But yeah, we're going to get into talking about Cody and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton and all that situation right after this.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney. Call 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033. Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation. Call 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Time now for more automotive wisdom with Jerry Hankey from Alternative Automotive, which is located on Mansion Road. People don't check their oil like they should. I don't know if it's a generational thing or just people don't think about it anymore. Like, it can cause a lot of problems really fast.
This is not even a joke. About 8 out of 10 oil changes a day don't even have oil on the stick, or if it does, it's on the very, very bottom of the stick. It's definitely not in the safe range. We tell every person that comes in, especially with no oil on the stick, first of all, check it. And if you don't want to check it, stop by and we'll check it for free. One of the service writers will come out and be more than happy to to check it for you. You don't even have to get dirty. And it's amazing how many people still don't check the oil, and it just destroys engines. There's tons of stuff inside your engine that uses the oil besides the regular mechanical lubrication part. All your variable valve timing, active fuel management for your lifters on your V8 Chevys and Dodges, stuff like that, all uses oil as a hydraulic fluid as well. And if there's none in there, it can cause a lot of check engine lights and other codes as well as mechanical damage to the engine.
Automotive wisdom for your life from Alternative Automotive and Jerry Hinkey, located on Mansion Road. Why don't you stop by and see him today?
The Olean Livestock Market is now the Olean Regional Stockyards and under new ownership. The Olean Regional Stockyards will be holding sales every Monday at 12 noon. For consignment and trucking needs, call Hayden Hurst at 573-690-2705 or Dusty Roberts at 417-298-9755. The Olean Regional Stockyards, same location, 56 Highway FF in Eldon. Our new ownership allows us to make improvements to our facility while maintaining familiarity to our customers. We can't wait to serve you. The Olean Regional Stockyards, the best destination for cattle buyers and sellers.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 49 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 60s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 50s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 72. In Wentzville it's 71 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Almost hate to have to turn down that bumper music. That's good bumper music. Don't you like that, AJ?
It's really good bumper music.
Very
Let's
good.
just keep it playing.
We got about 6 seconds left of that bumper music. We'll let it play just for AJ from the AJ Awesome Show on YouTube. Go see his stuff, like his stuff, because you are going to like his stuff. He of course talks to all kinds of different professional wrestlers across the board, from the independents to the mainstreams of professional wrestling. And one of your favorites, one of your friends, Cody Rhodes, he's now entangled in one heck of a mess with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton now as well. Your thoughts when you found out that Kevin Owens had attacked Cody Rhodes in the parking lot after the pay-per-view was over with?
I was shocked that it happened in the parking lot and not in the arena, but I kind of saw it coming in a way. Kevin Owens had started to become a bit less trusting of Cody ever since he started partnering up with Roman Reigns for that match at Bad Blood. So in a way, I saw it happening, but I didn't think it would be so soon, and I didn't think it would be where it was, and I didn't think it would be as devastating of an attack as it was. And now that we're seeing Kevin Owens go after Randy Orton too, saying that he's picking sides and going on Cody, I feel like it's definitely going to be a mess.
I don't think it had anything to do with trust.
Say that again.
It didn't have anything to do with trust. Can I say it again? Can we say it again?
Say it again.
I don't think it had anything to do with trust.
Really? What do you think it had to do with?
It wasn't that he didn't trust Cody. It was that he was pissed off that Cody didn't choose him.
Well, yeah.
He was jealous. It wasn't trust. It was jealousy.
I mean, I think AJ was the only one who was shocked. I agree with him that I thought it would happen in the ring, because I just don't.
You're talking about a guy who turned on his own. Right. He turned on his own best friend.
Kevin Owens.
Who has Kevin Owens not turned on?
Yes.
Right?
He's just like The Miz.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't be in a partnership with Kevin Owens and have complete trust. It doesn't work that way.
I'm surprised that he didn't kick Cody in the back of the leg in the match and win the title, because it's Kevin Owens, and that's what Kevin Owens does, and that's what Kevin Owens needs to do. And let's be completely honest here.
Sure.
Everybody in the crowd, you can hear it on TV, has been waiting and wanting Kevin Owens to just go ahead and be Kevin Owens and give Cody the beating that they kind of want to see Cody get.
Kind of so. I think the crowd is getting a little soured.
Right. Well, maybe not so much soured, but when you're standing there trying to be the biggest Boy Scout in the world.
Right.
And you got Randy Orton and Kevin Owen on your wing, and you're tag teaming with a guy like Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
One of them's going to get sick of you.
And also, don't forget, too, Cody is not the Boy Scout that you think he is. Cody is completely capable of turning on you also.
Yeah.
Cody has a dark side. The American Nightmare name didn't come because he was a good guy.
Very true.
So let's just keep that in mind. Put that in the back of your head.
Yeah. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, AJ.
If I catch you smoking, I'm kicking. No, I'm just kidding.
I am not kidding.
Of course, Marty, his father, says, I'm not kidding.
When he claims him.
Yeah, when he claims him.
Yeah, I mean, Randy Orton is so close to getting that world record. I see him also turning on Cody in the future so he can have that record of 17, and he's very close to the point where I feel like he would do it for that chance. And about Cody having that dark side, we did see it back whenever he was Stardust and bashing Cody Rhodes and all that. I feel like he could go back to the bad ways he was doing there to keep
Not just
that
that,
title.
but this New Japan stuff, man.
Yeah. Part of
Stardust, I just throw out the
Club.
window. I'm not even counting Stardust.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stardust is existing.
Say that again?
He threw Stardust out the window.
Well, yeah.
Stardust doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the Cody Rhodes that we know in the wrestling. I know. No company acknowledges. Very, very, very rarely do they acknowledge anything that a wrestler did anywhere else. But to the fans, we all know the capability because we know where he's been and we know what he's done. So if the WWE doesn't want to acknowledge, New Japan or anything like that, that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But we know.
Yep, we know. We definitely
We're not stupid, WWE.
Yep.
And I mean, they could tap into what Cody did in TNA too for a little bit of that too. Now that they have that partnership.
True. Sure.
That's a big thing.
Say that again, Marty.
The lightning bolt that started AEW with the Elite and the Bullet Club and all of that wasn't a nice Cody Rhodes that was in that group that got that going.
True.
That he was an a-hole.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And after he got everything he wanted, then he
hightailed it to the WWE.
He's going to be a happy, good guy for a while.
Can we talk about the Bullet Club for just a minute?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Is it even worth calling him Bullet Club anymore? Because can we please acknowledge the fact of this is probably nothing of what the Bullet Club was. This is not. It's just it's not the Bullet Club, man. Sorry.
Now, are you talking about the AEW?
No.
Which Bullet Club are you talking
New
about?
Japan.
New Japan's. Yeah, because
the only real Bullet Club is in New Japan.
Exactly. That's what I was going to go with.
This other stuff is just the boys trying to play off of what they did there and be the Elite and all this other crap.
Right.
And then as far as this Bullet Club Gold or whatever they're called,
the Bang Bang Gang. Yeah.
You had the
Bang
Bullet
Bang
Club
Gang.
Gold or something, whatever.
Yeah, they've changed it again to the Bang Bang Gang.
That was ridiculous. And that was just no.
Yeah.
No. But this version of the Bullet Club that we have is, I'm sorry.
It's definitely nothing like what we had in the past.
It does not hold the mystique. It does not hold the power. It does not hold anything that the Bullet Club once was. They need to just retire that name.
And it's kind of a bit of a shame, though, because David Finlay, Finlay's son, trying to lead that whole thing right now. He's a heck of a performer. He's a heck of a wrestler. He's a heck of both a face and a heel, both sides of the coin. But what I don't know what it is that's missing the mark with. Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's some of the other members as well. But you would think if he's leading it, it's got to fall on his shoulders for the fault, right?
It's the whole thing. It's the direction. It's the members. It's the booking. It's the writing. It's just not what Bullet Club was in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you. AJ, I see you wanting to say something over there.
And we've seen a lot of the Bullet Club switch out of the Bullet Club, like Tongaloa and all them going into WWE now. So I feel like them losing some of those members that were integral.
It hurt 'em.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a lot of what hurt it, Back in the day, you only changed leadership, and now it's members, and it's just not
very true.
It just doesn't hold that for me anymore. What it once did.
Yeah.
It's almost at a point of like the NWO. Oh, there's 40 freaking members of the NWO.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's a matter of who's not NWO? Well, who's not Bullet Club? Who's not at least attached to it in some way, shape, or form? Whether it's Elite or Bullet Club or something like that, it's just all
because
it's diluted. Would that be a decent word?
Yeah. With the NWO, that's definitely diluted. Yeah.
Well, with the Bullet Club, it seems diluted to me.
Well, I mean, no. See, the difference is there for me. With the NWO, you had 30, 40, 50 members, all doing things together, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Bullet Club, it's been going on for a long time, but they have lost members, and it's like it's not like they're all doing stuff together right then. It was kind of cool to see the Bullet Club branching out to the other organizations and stuff and taking over and all that kind of thing. So it was a different
you
animal.
had a Mexican version. You had the but now it's just.
But you're right though. It's not the same as it once was just 3 years ago. Or even 2 years ago.
And, I mean, talking about the Elite, what about Wrestle Dream that just happened? It was... I don't know if we have time to talk about it.
We've got about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So, what do you want to talk about from Wrestle Dream last night?
I feel like we should just get to Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley and all that stuff. Wheeler Yuta turning on Bryan Danielson, hitting him with that hammer, putting the plastic bag over his head. And is that Bryan Danielson's last match? I believe he said something like that.
It's his last match being a full-time wrestler.
Okay.
So we may still see him climb back into the ring, but I think he's got to go and get that neck surgery and a few other things done and taken care of and healed up first, and then that might take 6 months to a year or so. But he's now one of those ones where we're only going to see every once in a blue moon. CT?
I agree.
He'll be kind of like The Rock is now, maybe, where he shows up every once in a while,
I think
flips
he'll
the
show
tables.
up more than The Rock.
Yeah.
You'll see him more than you do The Rock, but yeah.
And when that happened on Wednesday night on Dynamite with Wheeler Yuta, of course Claudio Castagnoli and Pac, Claudio using that hammer on Wheeler a couple of different times in the midsection and everything like that. I had the feeling right then and there that somehow, some way at Wrestle Dream, Wheeler Yuta was going to get involved, and it didn't happen until after the match was over with. But yeah, he turned on Bryan Danielson, and to me, it wasn't a shock. I saw it coming, and I think a lot of people saw it coming. But him putting the bag over his face just like John did, that was a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of Wheeler Yuta putting the bag on his relations with them and the Blackpool Combat Club, basically saying in a way, hey, you're out, which he was before, but now I feel like that's even more solidified.
It is more solidified, and I think you're going to see even more of a quote-unquote ruthless side of Wheeler Yuta moving forward, and throw in the fact that Wheeler Yuta, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli are all the trios champions at the moment. Who's going to come in and take the belts off those three?
I don't think many people could, and I don't think if anyone could, they're here right now. I maybe see like Kenny Omega and the Bucks together taking him down, but I don't know if I think Kenny Omega's back. I don't know.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Well, whenever he does come back, I feel like him and the Bucks could turn the tables and attack the whole Blackpool Combat Club.
I don't know. I think Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are done, my friend. I don't see that coming to fruition like you're thinking for a very, very long time. And in fact, I think when Kenny Omega comes back, his main targets are the young schmucks.
I feel like the Blackpool Combat Club is a dominant enough stable that they could take him down. Just like how people in WLW are teaming together to take down Dysfunction, and there are people in WWE teaming down to take down the Bloodline. Wrestling in general has gotten amazing.
Cool. All right. So, Safety Harrison, thank you. AJ Awesome from the AJ Awesome Show, AJ Kadich, thank you. My broadcast partner on World League Wrestling Showdown, Martin Kadich, I thank you. What a blast it was. And for all of you watching and listening, thank you. And we will see you next weekend right here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 12 o'clock in the Heartland.
The green flag is out. We're underway. Nigger will look to the